Hi, this is chapter 4, second slide, further problems and exercise. So you can see the problem D, chapter 2, problem exercise 2-39I. In this solution, it is assumed that dietary restriction can be captured sufficiently as instances of dietary restriction type. If further specification is needed, a supporting column could be added to participant and or registration. Participant ID, it must be primary key, and then participant last name, participant first name, participant cellular phone, participant email. City table, city ID is the primary key, city name, city state. Meeting table, meeting ID primary key, meeting title, meeting hotel, and meeting city is foreign key. And then meeting city table, meeting table, meeting city references, city table, city ID. And diet restriction type, dietary restriction ID must be primary key, and dietary restriction label. And participant dietary restriction, primary key, participant ID, and dietary restriction ID. And participant ID responses, participant table, participant ID. Dietary restriction ID references, dietary registration type, restriction type table, restriction ID. And registration table, registration ID, registration travel time, registration arrival time, registration departure time, meeting ID, participant ID. And registration ID, primary key, meeting ID, participant ID, foreign key. Meeting ID references, meeting table, meeting ID, and participant ID references, participant table, participant ID. Registration dietary restriction table, registration ID, and dietary restriction ID, and registration ID references, registration table, registration ID. Dietary restriction ID references, diet registration time. So the dietary restriction ID. E. Chapter 2, problem and exercise 2-42. So you can see the figure like this. Student table, student entity, semester registration entity, advisor entity, course entity. So you can see there are student table, primary key student ID, student name, student major. Course table, course ID, primary key, course title, course credit. Advisor table, advisor ID is a primary key, and advisor name, advisor department. Semester registration table, semester registration ID, semester registration date, and semester registration time, semester registration semester, semester registration year, semester registration student, semester registration advisor. So semester registration ID, semester registration date, it must be composite primary key. Semester registration student, semester registration advisor, also foreign key. Semester registration student references, student ID, and semester registration advisor references, advisor ID. Course registration table, course registration ID, course ID, it must be composite primary key, and registration time. So semester registration ID references, semester registration table, semester registration ID, course ID references, course table, course ID table. Problem F, Chapter 2, Problem and Exercise 2-46. You can see there are agency table, agency entity, person entity, medicine treatment entity, diagnosis entity, illness entity, and then contact, visit, gerund, and prescription gerund. You can see agency table, primary key agency ID, and agency type, agency name, foreign key agency contact. And agency contact references, person table, person ID. Person table, person ID, primary key, person name, birth date, educational level, job title, permanent address, agency ID. So person ID is primary key, agency ID, foreign key. Agency ID references, agency table, agency ID. Contact table, agency ID, client ID. These are composite primary key. Contact date, employment statement, address at contact, reason, agency contact person ID. Agency contact person ID, it must be foreign key. So agency ID references, agency table, agency ID, client ID, references, person table, person ID, agency contact person ID references, person table, person ID. Illness table, illness ID must be primary key, and then illness name. Diagnosis table, diagnosis ID, diagnosis table, date, diagnosis note, and illness ID, diagnosis ID, it must be foreign key. So illness ID references illness table, illness ID, and diagnosis ID references person table, person ID. Medicine treatment table, medicine ID primary key, medicine name, manufacturer, prescription table, medicine ID, diagnosis ID, client ID. Medicine ID references, medicine treatment table, medicine ID, diagnosis ID references, diagnosis table, diagnosis ID, client ID references, person table, person ID, illness medicine table, illness ID, and medicine ID. It must be composite primary key. Illness ID references, illness table, illness ID, medicine ID references, medicine treatment table, medicine ID. Figure for this 32 shows a class list for Millennium College. Convert this user view to a set of third normal form relations using an enterprise key. Assume the following. An instructor has a unique location. A student has a unique major. A course has a unique title. Figures for this 32. Class list of Millennium College. So, there must be object table, the primary key OID, it must be enterprise key, and then object type. An instructor table, OID, instructor name, instructor location. Course table, OID, course number, course title, instructor name. Instructor name is a foreign key. And student table, OID, student number, student name, major. Outcome table, OID, student number, course ID, it must be foreign key, and grade. Foreign keys shown in italics. Problem number 33, A, B. Figure for dash 33 shows an enhanced entity relationship diagram for a simplified credit card environment. There are two types of card account, debit card and credit cards. Credit card account accumulate charges with merchant. Each charge is identified by the date and time of the charges as well as the primary keys of merchant and credit card. A. Develop a relational schema. B. Show the functional dependency. C. Develop a set of third normal form relationship using an enterprise key. So you can see there are customer table, customer ID, customer name, customer address, card account table, account ID, expiration date, card type, customer ID, foreign key, and then debit card account ID, and credit card account ID, and then charges table, merchant's ID, credit card account ID, charge date, charge time, amount, and merchant ID and merchant address. Also C, object table, primary key OID, and then object type. And customer table, OID and customer ID, customer name, customer address. Card account, OID, account ID, expiration date, card type, and customer ID. Customer ID must be primary key. Debit card, OID, debit card account ID, bank number. Credit card, OID, credit card account ID, current balances, charges, OID, merchant ID, credit card account ID, charge date, charge time amount, merchant, OID, merchant ID, merchant address. Foreign key shown in italic. Problem for dash 36. Table for dash 44 shows a relation called grade report. For a university, your assignment is as follows. A. Draw a relational schema and diagram the functional dependency in the relation. B. In what normal form is this relation? C. Decompose grade report into a set of third-normal form relations. D. Draw a relational schema for your third-normal form relation and show the referential integrity constraint. A. Functional dependency. You can see. Student ID determines student name, campus address. Major. And course ID determine course title, instructor name, instructor location. And instructor name determines instructor location. And student ID, course ID also determine grade. B. In what normal form is this relation? The relation is currently in the first normal form because it has no repeating groups and has a name and a valid primary key. But it's not in second normal form because it has partial transitive dependencies. For example, student name is dependent on only one of the two components of the primary key, student ID. C. Decompose grade report into a set of third normal form relation. Student table, student ID, student name, customer address, major. Registration table, student ID, course ID, grade. Course table, course ID, course title, instructor name. Instructor table, instructor name, instructor location. D. Draw a relational schema for your third normal form relation and show the referential integrity constraint. You can see, student ID determines student name, campus address, major, and then student ID and course ID also determine grade. And then course ID determine course title, instructor name, instructor table, instructor name determines instructor location. Student ID in student table and registration table student ID, there must be referential integrity. Course ID in course table and course ID in registration table, there must be a referential integrity. Course table instructor name and instructor name. In instructor table, there must be referential integrity. E. Draw your answer to part D using Microsoft Visio or any other tool specified by your instructor. So, it must be the final version of relation in Visio form. And then number 37. Table 4-5 shows a shipping manifest. Your assignment is as follows. A. Draw a relational schema and diagram the functional dependencies in the relation. So shipment ID determines shipment date, expected arrival date, origin, destination, ship number, captain ID, captain name. Item number determines type, description, weight, quantity. Captain ID determines captain name. Item number, shipment ID determines quantity. B. In what normal form is this relation? The relation is currently in the first normal form because it has no repeating groups and has a name and a valid primary key. But it's not in second normal form because it has partial transitive dependencies. For example, shipment date is dependent on only one of the two components of the primary key, shipment ID. The third normal form relation. So decompose manifest into a set of third normal form relation. Shipment table, shipment ID, shipment date, expected arrival date, origin, destination, ship number. Captain ID. Shipment line table, shipment ID, item number determines quantity. Item table, item number determines type, description, weight. Captain table determines captain name. D. Draw a relational schema for your third normal form relations and show the referential integrity constraint. You can see there are referential integrity between shipment ID in shipment table and shipment line table shipment ID. And also there must be a referential integrity item number in shipment line table, item number in item table. And also there must be referential integrity captain ID in shipment table and captain ID in captain table. E. Draw a relational schema for your third normal form relations and show the referential integrity constraint. Draw your answer to part D using Microsoft Visio or any other tool specified by your instructor. So you can see the Microsoft Visio format entity relationship diagram. Thank you for listening. Yeah, see you next time. Bye.